Should Britain remain a member of the EU or leave the EU? That's the one clear mandate that we have. And although we now have a clear verdict from the British people, which I'm delighted about, I feel very, very proud to be British today, to see the way we stood up to all the threats and the hectoring and the bullying, we should also take account of the fact that 48% of our fellow countrymen voted to remain. And so in implementing the verdict, we need, wherever possible, to try and build a consensus, to try and carry people with us. We need to recognise that 2 of the 4 constituent nations of the UK voted to remain. The UK is a partnership. We need to give due weight to their voices. And of course, we don't want to act precipitately. We want to act wherever possible with the consent and agreement of our European allies. It's important to stress that reclaiming our laws doesn't in any sense mean walking away from our friends in Europe. We're still going to be constructively engaged, but on the basis of repatriating jurisdiction.
Many people voting to leave will have been persuaded by your advertisement on the side of your bus that we send £350 million a week to the EU, and that could be spent on the national health and other things. How long will it take before that happens? Before the money is repatriated? I mean, next week?
I'm afraid it won't be next week or next year, because getting out of the EU is something that we need to get right. We've been in for 43 years, and I am very happy to wait 2 or 3 years if that means getting the terms of exit favourable to us, but also fair to our allies on the continent. It's absolutely critical that we don't rush into something for the sake of it, that we get a settlement that is durable here, that is fair to our allies, that shows that we're still engaged in the sense that we're military allies, we have open markets and so on, but that allows us to begin to take back power. And I think the vast majority of people who just voted to leave, and who I've spent most of my last 4 months with pretty solidly campaigning, I think they understand that. What they wanted was to bring back control. But people are grown up, and they understand that this isn't something that can be done tomorrow.
And something is postponed.
No one has ever suggested that there's going to be no immigration. No. And by the way, thank you for making the point about the status of EU nationals. There will be EU nationals watching this programme now, and I want to again underline no one has suggested any change in their status. The only change they will see is that they no longer vote at European or local elections. I think in terms of migration from the EU, the one thing that we can change as a result of coming out is that we will no longer be citizens of the European Union. Citizenship of the European Union gives you a legal entitlement to reside and vote in another country, and it gives you the right to be treated the same way as a national of that country for the purposes of things like university tuition fees, welfare claims and so on. That, I think, is going to change. But frankly, if people watching think that they have voted and there is now going to be 0 immigration from the EU, they are going to be disappointed. Of course there is still going to be immigration. There are still going to be people coming here to work. Right. And you will look in vain for anything that the Leave campaign said at any point that ever suggested that there would be any kind of border closure or drawing up of the drawbridge. All we're asking for is some control over roughly who comes in and roughly in what numbers.
All right.